Hi, I'm Abhinash and welcome once again to my channel. The recent TCS severance has created significant discussion across the country. Around 12,000 mid to senior level employees were asked to exit as part of TCS's strategic workforce realignment driven by increased investment in AI, data, and cybersecurity while phasing out roles that could not be redeployed internally. It is important to note that an employee's involuntary exit or termination is not uncommon in the private sector. I have over 20 years of HR experience, and I can safely say that such realignments happen regularly. First, let us look at what TCS said. TCS publicly announced that it will reduce around 2% of its global workforce, which they estimated to be over 12,000 jobs. The company states the cuts are being done to address a skills and capability mismatch, especially in light of digital or AI transformation in the IT services business. TCS says any reductions are not target driven, that is, not chasing a fixed number, but based on business needs and redeployment or reskilling considerations. Regarding severance and support for affected employees, reports say packages may range from 6 months to up to 2 years' salary depending on tenure and role. It claims that affected employees will be given notice pay, transition support, and outplacement and early retirement options in some cases. Now let us look at what employees or others said on the TCS saga. Some employees are reporting feelings of humiliation, forced resignations, and being given little room or notice, especially those who say they were on the bench, that is, without project for a while. What stands out in this instance, however, is the way some employees received their severance communications. Many felt a lack of empathy from the HR team with interactions that came across as dismissive or arrogant. Several affected employees have shared their experiences and ordeal over social media, including Sachin Kumar. Unions and employee groups in Karnataka, Maharashtra are saying some cases may amount to direct termination or forced resignation rather than voluntary exit, raising concerns about procedural fairness. There is a difference between the numbers TCS acknowledges versus what employee groups allege. Some sources claim up to 19,000 headcount drop in a quarter, that is 3.2% of workforce, even though TCS says about 12,000 and 2%. Let us look at the key issues and considerations when deciding if the terminations are right or wrong. Transparency and communication. Are employees clearly told why they are being separated? That is, skill mismatch, project shortage. Are the criteria for selection and effect being applied fairly and consistently? Some reports suggest this may not always be the case. If someone was on bench for 8 months, he was asked to leave. When a company says we'll use notice pay plus severance, how well it is actually delivered matters. Due process. Did the company offer redeployment or reskilling before termination? TCS claims it is doing so. Did affected employees receive due notice or consultation? If not, as was the case with Sachin Kumar, as he claimed online, there is a risk of TCS being deemed unfair. Fair severance and support. The severance packages, 6 months to 2 years, seem relatively generous in some cases. But the details matter: seniority, tenure, whether all eligible get it, whether they get proper outplacement support, business justification. TCS cites changes in client demand, AI adoption, global headwinds, and visa or trade issues, that is, H1B US tariffs, as factors. If true business reasons exist and are documented, then workforce reduction is more defensible. Scale and disclosure. Some employees and unions feel the real numbers are higher than what TCS is publicly disclosing. Numbers are between 12,000 to 19,000 or even more. This gap raises questions about transparency. For large employers like TCS, how such large shifts are handled has precedent implications. Now let us look at my assessment whether it is right or wrong. Based on the above, I will say the situation is mixed. It is neither completely right nor completely wrong. Here's how I break it down. On the business reason front, TCS appears to have a legitimate business case. Skills mismatch, global shifts, AI, so the concept of workforce reduction is not inherently wrong. On the termination fairness front, there are red flags. There is reports of forced resignations, employees feeling humiliated, some ambiguity around selection criteria. These suggest some terminations may be unjust or poorly handled. On the support and severance side, some employees seem to be getting support and severance, which is good, but we don't know if all affected employees get fair treatment. On the communication and disclosure side, the discrepancy in numbers and some employee reports suggest the company could be more transparent. In my view, TCS HR could have managed this process more thoughtfully by personally explaining the reasons for retrenchment to each affected employee, outlining the employee friendly severance packages and offering support during the transition. Empathy in such situations is as critical as procedural fairness. To those impacted, my advice would be to move forward confidently in your careers. You have valuable experience, and if TCS recognize your skills, other organizations will too. Hence, focus on new opportunities, let go of the past, and keep progressing. This concludes my presentation. Please do like, subscribe, and comment on my video. Wishing you all the best.